what's up, everybody? Welcome to We're Offended, You're Offended, the podcast. I'm Kim. This is Tyler. And it's Wednesday, so happy hump day. Wow, chicka, wow, wow. And apparently I didn't mute my phone, so thank you, Will. And oh, hell yes, it is Wednesday. Anyway, I hope everyone's had a great week so far. We got some things going on today. Not really news-ish. More of a dramatic reading. So,
yes, it's going to be fantastic. So, for anyone that doesn't know, the Cuck Commander himself, Jack Peg My Butthole Murphy, has returned. And he has come back roaring and ready to spread his cheeks and expose his chocolate starfish to the world.
ew. Do I have to see this?
I mean, we can go to the Liminal order again if you wish.
No, I'm good. I think I've seen enough of his Liminal order for a while.
Okay, so I guess before we get into it, of course, we're on YouTube, we're on Rumble, we're on Spotify. So please, we encourage you to hit the like button, share it with your friends and your family, leave us a review on Spotify, and of course on Rumble. Hit that Rumble button, smash it like Jack Murphy's ass gets smashed by tongues.
Ever sick.
Okay, so for anyone that doesn't know the backstory, so Jack Murphy, aka John Goldman, was on the You Are Here podcast with, oh my god, please learn how to fucking back up. Sorry, I was gonna hit my mirrors.
Should I come down there and teach him how? I'll be like, hold on, I'll show you how to back an ass up, especially a big ass.
But okay, but so he ended up kind of getting not called out, I guess exposed because of so Sydney Watson had asked, was reading her super chats, and they were, she had asked while she was reading it, and the super chat had asked, like, are you going to talk about that cuck article from like 6 years ago? And he says, no, whatever anyone thinks about that, that's not who I am, and I'd rather leave it alone. And then the immediate next super chat was, why don't you talk about that cuck article? And he goes, what? Or why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this? He's like, fuck you, heartfelt, say it with the chest. And so, like, and I've said before, I'm okay with that. I could understand something, hey, you know what, I'd rather not talk about this. This is, I'd rather not. And then someone, kind of pushing that boundary. And so it wasn't that bugged me. It was everything that happened after. So it was the, on the Liminal order, or as he likes to call it, the Liminal order, was trying to push, try to get a war room set up to find dirt on all these people that are talking shit about him, and not doing stuff that, that he portrayed himself to be this, alpha male, this Giga Chad kind of, showing masculinity, and he has it mastered and he has it all together. And it's kind of progressed more and more to threatening people until, well, and the thing is, everyone was just having a laugh. That's the thing. Everyone was, poking fun at him and, digging up all this stuff. And he was just, deny, try and scrub all this stuff from the internet instead of just, yeah, I did that stuff. But then he kept lying about things, and it became so much worse than it needed to be. Like, hey, yeah, you know what? That's what I did. Am I proud of it? No. But it's weird because some of the timeline stuff that he was bringing up, he said, after COVID, I lost my job. So, I had to pay the bills. But the Liminal order was started before COVID. So
yeah, I was gonna say that article or whatever, I thought that was out like a few years ago. before
Well,
COVID.
but no, but he was saying like, oh, this is from 6 years ago. You know, this isn't the same person I am. But he was up and on Chatterbait since 2019. And the liminal order was already started. And he said, well, I had to start doing this because I lost my job. So,
Okay.
So the more and more he talked, the more and more people started poking holes in his story. And then, okay. But so we have a dramatic reading from the Cuck Commander, Jack Murphy.
Wow.
Hey. So we are going to take turns reading it. And we're gonna talk about this because it's a lot. It's a lot. And I think I said yesterday that he's amazing at saying nothing while saying so much at the same time.
Yeah.
It's a skill I wish I had.
I'm going to warn everybody before we get started. For one, grab your drinks. I got mine already. And mine is not going to be quite as entertaining as Tyler's here. Not at all. But
you want me to read it?
I'll try to make it worthwhile. Okay.
Okay. So, Jack Cuck Commander Murphy starts with, I'm back. I am a seeker. I have always been looking for the truth, especially when it's in the asshole of a young college boy. And I've always done my best to move forward toward the truth in as authentic a way as I knew how, by asking for Tinder dates for my wife. My life has been a study in moving from darkness to light, like when I bend over showing my chocolate starfish to the world. I wrote about this in my book, #branding, Democrat to deplorable. That transition from my knees to my back with my legs spread wasn't purely political, but it was mental, emotional, and relational and spiritual. As I went from #branding, Democrat to deplorable, I also went from the manosphere to the Americosphere. From hedonism to service to others. From liberalism values to traditional values. From subjective secularism to objective truth. Your turn.
Okay. People told me the pursuit of happiness meant doing whatever you wanted. Objective truths were hidden from me growing up in a democratic family. Growing up liberal, growing up in a progressive environment, freedom meant you could thumb your nose at anyone trying to warn you to stop doing something that might harm you. It was pursuing your happiness, doing your own thing, no matter what that thing was.
Okay, so already it seems pretty crazy. So if anyone understands like the ideas of liberalism is limited government and those laws are passed by the people. So it seems really weird that because he actually sounds very hedonistic. So hedon is just the constant seek of pleasure, that we are all driven by pleasure, and that is all you're to fulfill. So it just seems really, really unusual that that's kind of where he's gone from. So he already started with the #branding. In my book, Democrat to Deplorable, and you'll see as we continue on. But growing up liberal, so I'm assuming he's talking about in a traditionally liberal household, which, that's the idea is, so I have it pulled up here, a political theory founded on the natural goodness of humans and the autonomy of the individual. Fuck, dude. English. a political theory founded on the natural goodness of humans and that the autonomy of the individual and favoring civil and political liberties, governing by law with the consent of the governed, and protection from arbitrary authority. Oh, that is the idea of I am giving you this ability and I can withdraw consent at any time. That is the idea of liberalism. And we don't have to get too much deeper into it, but it's just interesting to grow up in a democratic it's not my fault that I love to get pegged in the ass. I just grew up that way.
It was in the teachings. It took me decades of being proactive, engaged adult learner to figure out that wasn't the case. I learned that our country was built upon people who didn't believe that you should do your own thing, no matter what it was. I've learned that the founding fathers encouraged us to act in harmony with the virtues and the excellence of Aristotle and the morals of religion, specifically Christianity. Well, at least it wasn't Catholicism. I mean, if it was Catholicism, maybe he would have had more fun being an altar boy. Just saying.
Well, to be fair, yeah. Maybe his beard would have actually gone all white, not like, you'd just have cum stains on the side instead of,
Right.
But okay, so I've learned that our country was built upon people who didn't believe that you should do your own thing, no matter what it was. I learned that the founding fathers encourage us to act in harmony with the virtues and excellence of Aristotle and the morals of religion. So you kind of can't have one without the other. You can be virtuous and have morals. They kind of have to work together, don't they?
I would think so. I mean, makes sense to me, but what do I know? I'm just a girl.
I've always been on a trajectory of trying to figure out the truth. It has taken me a long time, and I have made many bad decisions along the way. 3 years ago, I did something I am no longer proud of. Things which disgust me today.
Really?
The catch was, they were acceptable in the context of my belief system at the time.
Is that
I used to believe that...
Sorry. Never mind. I'll let you continue. I'll save my thoughts.
Okay. I used to believe that consent between and among all parties involved was enough. This is humanism, a belief system that says humans are born inherently good. So whatever we desire must be perfectly acceptable. All desires, especially when we're getting pegged, are equally valid and moral. That means if you enter my asshole into a consensual relationship, especially men from Grindr or Tinder, or a consensual engagement with somebody, then that's enough. And it contains all the justification there is for your behavior. So you see right there. He initially said, "Oh, that article's from 6 years ago, and I'm not that same person."
He said 3 years ago.
But now he's saying 3 years ago. So that's 2019 when the Liminal order was already started.
Okay.
Okay.
How old is this article? Is this from 3 years ago?
This is new.
Oh,
this article is brand new. This was just dropped yesterday.
Oh, snap. Okay.
Yeah.
See, what I would like to know, so he says that they were acceptable in the context of my belief system at the time. So is this the kind of thing that they teach in Christian churches? I mean, I've been to a couple Christian churches. I don't remember them teaching cuckitude, personally.
Okay, but so what he is saying, he's saying in the idea of liberalism, consent, no matter what, is acceptable. So if you try and look at that, just because I can do something morally does not mean I should do something. Like if you came to me and said, hey, you know what, Tyler? Take this knife and stab me with it. Well, you're consenting, right? So.
Oh, this reminds me of a true crime thing I heard. This guy, see, I watched too much true crime. The cannibal guy, where he was like
Yeah.
he never actually did anything to unconsenting people. He literally put out ads and stuff like that, and people consented to it. So
yeah,
that's some fucked up shit.
See, and so that's the idea that he's coming from. So from a Democrat household, so it's okay. I'll give it okay. This was my upbringing, that you are that liberal, but it sounds like hedonism. It sounds like an pleasure at pleasure's sake, that we are motivated by pleasure and pain. So, but then to say, as long as it's justifiable or there's consent given between the parties, it's all good. So, all right, you wanna read this next part?
Now, I recognize that consent is still required, but it's not enough. Consent is not enough to mediate society, because people can consent to terrible things. Hence the thing I just talked about. That doesn't make those things acceptable. Definitely not.
Especially when you're asking people to fuck you or watch you get fucked in the ass by your wife for like $2 on Chatterbait.
True. I thought that as long as I did what I wanted without causing direct damage to others, that it was okay. It was my life after all. But I learned consent cannot make bad into good all by itself. After that realization...
I was just going to say, but so his wife had even said in an interview that she was not okay with this at all.
Oh.
She did not like this, but he kept pushing it more and more and more.
Well, I mean, so, I guess she did consent, right? So she might not have willingly consented, but she would have consented at some point in order for it to transpire, right? So she probably got badgered into it and was like, fine, just do it.
Yeah. Well, and then you kind of see like the lusting and the there was an interview that him and her had did, and it was like some dominatrix chick, and she's like, oh my God, that's so hot. Oh, tell me about you meeting with Matt from Tinder. Oh, geez. You can hear her. She's like, oh, I'm getting more and more wet. Oh, I'm getting so turned on. This was the podcast host. Oh. And yeah, at first, like I said, Jack's girlfriend, wife, or whatever was saying like, yeah, I was not okay with this at all. I didn't like it. But I started to do this because I love Jack, John. But okay, all right, let's continue.
After that realization, I began to explore what else needs to come along with that consent. If consent is not sufficient to determine good and bad, if consent is not the totality, then what is? What about the common good? What does the action you're consenting to mean for everybody else involved in other ways? Like your parents and your children. The common good is not to be enforced through law, but perhaps through social mediation, through cultural mediation, or the law of fashion and opinion. We should do what is good so that our world is good for others. You can take over.
Okay. Like any true giga cuck, in the last few years, I have been offered the amazing opportunity of one-on-one education with some of the best scholars in cucking and spiritualists and political philosophers that teach me how to stretch my asshole on #branding Jack Murphy Live. My connections over the years to all those young, sexy college boys led me through a cycle of awakening, of a rebirth, of sexual exploration. With that came ejection, also erections of humanistic relative morality and an embrace of objective good. I've had an amazingly accelerated, dedicated, professionally tutored educational process that has brought me from one position 3 years ago to consent is all, or a year ago of consent is all, to a new position today where I reject some of the things I used to embrace. So he's talking about these great teachers, these great philosophers and spiritualists, and scholars. Normally scholars, philosophers, and spiritualists are very deep, introspective kind of thoughts. I think of like Jordan Peterson. He is very deep in where his thinking aligns, and he has a very deep understanding of the psychology of humans. So it's just weird that he goes, "Oh, let me plug my Jack Murphy Live branding."
That's great.
Well, a new position today where I reject some of those things I used to embrace. Okay, all right. So your turn.
What have I found in this new way of thinking? There is virtue, specifically. Those virtues contained within our definition of masculinity: to build, to create, to provide, to protect, to instruct, men acting upon the world with the intent to make it better for all people. No man is a man who gathers power to himself solely to revel in his own power.
Level.
Yeah. No.
Okay, so remember that line right there. No man is a man who gathers power to himself slowly to revel in his own power.
Solely. You want to correct solely. That's slowly.
Oh, what did I say slowly?
Yeah.
Oh, solely. So that is gaining power for power's sake and saying, "Look how great I am." Remember that line. It's going to come back.
No, you have to do it in a way that's virtuous and reflects the Aristotelian excellence. And that's why a second part of our vision of masculinity is also to act with honor, courage, loyalty, strength in every context, including sexuality.
Actually, he couldn't help it. He just had to squeeze that in there. He just had to squeeze even section, like Jack. Hey, maybe
let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me.
maybe I think after that article, I think we should kind of the sexuality thing a little bit. Originally, masculinity, according to Aristotle, was about being a good man to be part of the good polis that you create together, which is something I've talked about before. Then came Machiavelli, who said it was actually just about glory. Well, that is insufficient. And then Hobbes and Locke, who said masculinity is about survival and property. Well, that's insufficient as well. And then you get to the modern life where identity is the only truth and masculinity is an angry rejection of postmodernity. No, masculinity is not about tearing down the world because you can, just because you want to exert your will. So it is interesting. Well, he definitely did like to do that. But if you're looking in, masculinity is not just about tearing down the world because you can. I don't know in what societies. A lot of it was actually about conquest, and typically men were the ones that went to war. I am going to have to look into, maybe the teachings of more of Aristotle and Hobbes and Locke. But okay, well, anyways, all right, your turn.
Masculinity is actually a little bit of all of those things combined into one. Being a good man to build and maintain the good polis for your people. Achieving glory through moral means, survival and protection of property in the face of tyranny. Anger at modern life and its threats to our family, and tearing down what is evil for the sake of rebuilding the good polis. Masculinity is all of these. That's my current definition and working usage of the idea of masculinity.
All this learning. Oh,
nope. Carry on.
All this learning led me to found the Liminal order. Not because I was a perfect man, but because I needed that sweet 69 for 69 to teach other men to bend over and be perfect while getting pegged. I was still deeply flawed. My chest hair was uneven. My beard was unkempt. I carried shame and scars from my asshole being reamed open. My days, and when I believed in liberalism. You've seen some of my worst moments on the internet in the last couple of months. Not by choice, Jack. Not by choice. Couldn't help but find your asshole everywhere. We got to see your tonsils from your asshole. That's what we got to see. That's what we got to experience, Jack. But it is so liberalism. We just talked about liberalism. That there is the natural goodness in humans and the autonomy of the individual to favoring civil and political liberties. So there's a thing called the non-aggression principle. Non-aggression or pact. Pact, principle, same shit. So it's the idea of, because everyone thinks, oh well, liberals, they have a non-aggression principle, a non-aggression pact. So the non-aggression axiom is an ethical principle often applied to the basis of libertarian rights theory. The principle forbids aggression, which is understood to be any and all forcible interference with any individual's person or property, except in response to the initiation. So, like, you and me we could be libertarians, and it would be the idea of, if I came to you and said, Kim, give me that. And if you went and like punched me in the face, I go, I thought you were a libertarian. What about your non-aggression principle? No.
Don't touch my shit then.
So that's kind of where this has been kind of bastardized, because everyone thinks, well, libertarians aren't aggressive. Oh no, it's just you leave me alone and I'll leave you alone.
Yeah.
I did that backwards, but you understood the
yeah, I got it.
But so I carried shame and scars from my day of believing when I believed in liberalism. You've seen some of my worst moments on the internet, okay? All right. Was I reading this or was that you?
No, it was you.
Okay.
You stopped after the last couple of months.
When they were still secrets, they drove me to pursue virtue in order to distance myself from the past version of me I hated so much. I wanted to teach other men to avoid the traps of hedonism I fell into.
Wait, when they were still secrets, you mean when you yourself put this all over the internet? That's not really a secret when you yourself actually post it.
Well, but he's saying when I believed in liberalism, and then he talks about hedonism. Those are two things that they're not mutually exclusive. Hedonism, again, is the idea of seeking pleasure. So hedonism claims that only pleasure or pain motivates us. Ethical or evaluative hedonism claims that only pleasure has worth or value, and only pain or displeasure has disvalue, or the opposite of worth. So liberalism, traditional liberalism I don't think has anything to do with hedonism, but like you notice like he's kind of talking about these virtues and all this types of that masculinity is about being strong, but also finding Matt on Tinder to fuck my wife. And okay, all right, let's continue.
Some have said that me running the Liminal order is the height of hypocrisy. You're welcome. They mistakenly believe that I continue to do these things or these actions up to the very day my sins came to light. They wonder how I could teach men to be men when I have done the things I have done. And they question rightly why I did not reveal myself to others and only my mistakes as I teach men to do. My biggest mistake.
Sorry. I don't think that there is a hypocrisy to being part of a men's group and then saying, trying to portray these virtues, like fake it till you make it kind of thing. But he was a lifelong Democrat, like he was, and then, well, he's I guess he's seen the rise in Trump. Maybe I don't know. I don't know his, and I'm not going to apply ulterior motives to it. But
the only thing is, though, is that okay? If say roles are reversed and I was doing something like this, and I'm trying to teach other men how to be as manly as I am, anyway.
Well, but that's what he portrayed. That's what that was his persona that he was giving off. That this is a man. This is what men do. Men fuck other men.
Yeah. Anyway. Like I was saying. But the thing is, like, if you're hiding who you actually are, that doesn't like if I'm trying to teach somebody something, like something that I have through the years learned and I've grown and stuff like that, I would be open about my past mistakes or things that I wasn't so thrilled about, my other life, so to speak. I would tell them, like, at one point I was like this, but hey, this is me now. You know what I mean? Like, you don't hide those mistakes because those mistakes are who makes you who you are today. So be a man. If you're going to be teaching men how to be men, okay, then be a man and own it. Don't try to hide it. Own up to it. Yes, this is who I was before. That's not me anymore. I mean, I could look back at myself from when I was a teenager many years ago and be like, yeah, that's who I was then. That's not who I am now. I've learned. I've grown. And that's how you would teach somebody something better. Anyway.
Well, and I've even said, like, like when me and my ex split, I was in a bad fucking place, like really bad fucking place. So I can understand where his mentality was, because he's apparently his breakup with his wife was really bad. It was not a good divorce. So I can understand that. It almost becomes like a self-destructive thing. Like, I'm going to burn this candle at both ends and I'm going to go out with a fucking bang, because obviously I have no worth in the world. I have nothing to provide. So, but but the thing that people weren't mad. Like I said, people weren't mad that you did this. People weren't mad that you had the Liminal order. Sorry, it's just people weren't upset about that. They were upset at how he decided to respond to the criticism.
Yeah,
that's when people really started to get pissed off. When you are trying, like I said at the start, trying to create war rooms and stuff, trying to dig up dirt on people, try to get people fired. Like, he phoned Glenn Beck, the owner of Blaze TV, and wanted Sydney and Elijah fired.
Like, relax your
Like-
dick, dude. Like, relax.
But like this was your doing, and okay, maybe it got exposed by them. He could just said, yeah, you know what? I would love. I'll talk about it another time when I feel like I'm ready. But not when you start doing stuff like this. You could have just left it at that. And you know, he even said, like, he posted, you know, me and Elijah, we went for drinks after, and we sat and talked, and we hashed it all out. We're all friends. We're all good. But what did you do? You decided to say, hey, Glenn Beck, you need to fire these people. And kudos to Glenn Beck that he told Jack Murphy to go suck a dick again.
I like how you do that again. It's like, hey, I got Matt's number. Want it? Use it.
Oh, can you imagine Glenn Beck saying that?
I would.
I know this guy on Tinder. I'm sure he'll be able to suck your dick. But
100%.
okay. Heartfelt.
God,
God, that's such a bitch thing to say. Heartfelt.
I'm sorry, the way that he did it too, like if no one actually knows what Jack Murphy looks like, just go look him up, okay? Just go Google him and then imagine him being like heartfelt. Like it just
Fuck you, heartfelt.
right.
All right. People have called me many things.
No.
What?
You're skipping an entire thing.
Oh, my biggest mistake was not coming clean about my past.
Oh, there you go.
Not necessarily. I should have. So that did not control me or threaten the work I did to help others. See, now, okay. Because my past was revealed, people believed I still did those things. And that made me angry. My anger at their being revealed. My anger at their being revealed. Come on, man. Was really anger at myself for having ever believed as I did. Okay, my anger at their being revealed was really anger at myself for having ever believed as I did. Am I retarded?
No, that's kind of a messed up sentence. Like the part where my anger at their being revealed. That's just stupid. But I was really angry at myself for having believed as I did. So believing how he used to believe before, which I get. And the thing is too, I will say that I know you were like, about him shitting. I bet they come out just like that. Yeah. They just like, you can barely hold them in anymore. They just bloop right out. Anyway. But the thing is, I think he should have been honest about it, because the thing is, okay, if say I'm trying to talk to somebody about a topic and I'm trying to give you advice on it, but then you find out that I did blah in the past, you'd be like, well, what the fuck? Why are you telling me this when you did that? Where if I was like completely honest and talking to you and been like, okay, this is what I did in the past and these are the things that I've learned and this is how I've grown, you would take that more. And then, so then if it came out, you'd be like, yeah, I knew about that. Whereas I can understand the people who he was teaching or helping or whatever. If they were to all of a sudden find this out, not from his mouth, I'd be thinking the same thing. Like, who the fuck are you to tell me these things? Like, this was you?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and who knows? Maybe the thing is, maybe he's still kind of doing this kind of stuff. Like, the thing is, now it calls everything else into question. Okay, so, but in the moment, my anger turned outward at the people who revealed my sins when I felt I wasn't ready. I was wounded and wanted the pain to stop. No, but like I said, he phoned Glenn Beck and wanted these people fired. He wanted jobs. When, like...
Well, I guess because he was in so much pain. Like, that's the thing. That's how he retaliates, is through anger. And he's like, that's it. You hurt me, so I want your job. I want you to hurt just as much as I hurt right now. Which is... That's
a Giga Chad mood. That's a Giga. If there's a Giga Chad, you go, you know what? Because of what I did, I'm going to blame you.
Yeah.
It's not how that works, man. All right.
No. Apparently, he still needs some growing to do.
Well, he is a growing boy. And butthole's getting a little looser every month. But All right.
Maybe it's finally
Your
getting
turn.
tighter. Maybe he can actually hold in the poops now. It's
Oh,
only when he
gross. Okay.
sneezes. Okay.
Okay.
You didn't actually finish that paragraph, but that's okay.
I did.
No.
I was wounded and wanted the pain to stop.
Oh yeah, you did. Sorry. People have called me many things. Hypocrite, grifter, FBI plant, Mossad asset, what? Spy ringleader. They've invented fanciful stories about my escapades. Some have used this as an excuse to tear down the work I've done helping men. Well, no, I'm going to say that you not being open and honest did that to yourself.
So where was that? Where was that line? So you notice how he's now talking about the work that I'm doing. This is all to tear down and destroy the work that I'm doing. Where the hell was that line that I was talking about?
Yes, because everybody is out to get you. They thought one day, you know what? I don't know, this manly man here, this freaking Gaston of a man.
Right here.
I'm gonna tear him down.
Man who gathers power to himself solely to revel in his own power. You notice how the words are now starting to change about the work that I'm doing to help others.
Yeah.
You notice how that's kind of changing.
Yeah.
All right. You want to keep going, or?
All of this is my responsibility in refusing to my own past. I opened the door for the most hostile actors with the worst imaginings. So today, I am owning my past. Criticism has also fallen unfairly.
How are you doing that? How are you owning your past? Because everything we've seen so far is deflecting. Blaming other people. Yeah, you're blaming your parents, how you grew up, how I became a hashtag Democrat to deplorable. You know, how you started to shill your YouTube channel. By the way, you should check out We're Offended, You're Offended podcast on YouTube. But now he's going behind another shield. Oh, people are trying to attack the work that I'm doing for other men. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so what is he doing to atone for it?
Writing a bunch of big words so far.
Well, criticism has also fallen unfairly on my brothers in the Liminal order. Men have been mocked for associating with me, especially Matt, especially all those young college boys.
Oh, he's the only one sticking by him.
And people have wondered what it means to be a member of the Liminal order when the founder has secrets like these. People are not judged by their past. I will say that flat out. If you own your past, then you control the narrative.
There you go. Okay. Because I was about to fight you on that. And I'll be like, actually, yes, they are. But actually, but if you own your past and you're open and honest about it, then no, they won't. Because you're saying, hey, this was me. Okay. It comes from a more open, honest place. And then you can take it as more of an accepting place and be like, okay, well, this is what this person went through and this is how far they've come. Awesome. Just like all those statues that got ripped down that I've said a bajillion times. Those should be a reminder of how far people have come and what things used to be that you don't want to go back to them, as that kind of a reminder. But when you're being freaking shady and hiding shit, of course, when it comes out, it's going to make you look like a freaking cuck asshole.
Well, and when you have these portrayals, he talks about, masculinity, men being men and men's groups and the men and Giga Chad.
I'm going to say that just because you're like, oh, men being men, I'm going to say in the whole cucking tripod thing that they had going on there, his wife was more of a man than he was because she was the one fucking dealing with the shit. Just saying, girls got big balls. Call me.
Ew. All right, so I was not the man I should have been. I am no longer the man I was. the Jack Murphy you see in gossipy articles. Aren't gossip articles. This is literally people are saying, like, they're just showing you as you.
Yeah.
So what, like,
pictures you put out there, they're articles you put out there. They're just saying, hey, remember this? This is you.
but the gossipy articles died before anyone even heard of him. So he's now talking about the Jack Murphy of old is dead, and he's not. That Cuck Murphy is gone. Well, but we just seen that Jack Murphy is still much alive, because what did you do? You blasted some chick, tried to get her and her boyfriend or husband fired. You tried to dig up dirt on, like, the quartering, on Nick Rekieta, on, saying that, oh, this is going to be bad for our mutuals and all this type of stuff. That doesn't sound like the Jack Murphy of old is dead. I should have been honest that he ever existed, instead of covering him up. But I did not want him to detract from the work I started. Remember, not reveling in power. Some of that work includes the Liminal Order, men who joined together under a banner of brotherhood in a world gone mad. And my work with them continues because it is far too important to be railed by other men.
This is getting a little confusing. He's like talking third person, first person, third person, first person. Ugh.
Well, he's trying to talk about the Jack Murphy of old. So again, I'm still looking for, what are you doing? This is all my responsibility, and that Jack Murphy is dead. Let me address those men and that group so the world knows the truth. The Liminal Order is not and never has been a Jack Murphy fan club, or also known as a Jack Off Murphy fuck club.
Circle jerk. That's actually how they warm up. They meet up early and they all go in a circle and just like jerk it.
That's what I do.
I know. I've seen.
Oh.
I've also been in the middle of it. I'm just kidding. I'm picturing me in the middle of that right now.
Ew.
Sorry.
What, a circle of me's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That has spelled out plainly on our initial contact page. This is not a group to celebrate myself. Are you sure?
However, it is the group so that they could see my ass.
Yes. The Liminal Order is a network of men living out masculine virtues in a degenerate world. Some are men who were raised with good values, who never strayed from the path, and who have come seeking others like themselves. And some are like me, with their own dark secrets that they reject. They seek to become a better man, perhaps to move from Democrat to deplorable like I did.
Hashtag branding.
Or from
Hashtag branding.
the consent to virtue. The Liminal Order has 3 core values: masculinity, brotherhood, and sovereignty. None of which I say Jack Murphy is God. No, it's about community service, loyalty to each other, and helping each other out. We help each other when we are grieving. We help pay for funerals. We help men move their families out of violent zones into safe havens. We help men find jobs. We build businesses, institutions, and reflect our values. We help men be loving fathers for their children and stable husbands for their wives and their wives' boyfriends. We help each other do what men are supposed to do.
Bend over and get pegged for $3 on Chatterbait. But so, okay, there's a lot here. So what is he doing? How is he, casting off the shadows of old? How does for any of you Warhammer dorks, if you know the Black Legion, their slogan, in shame and shadow recast, and black and gold reforged. Or reborn. Sorry, I fucked it up. I'm sorry.
Oh, the nerds are so angry at you right now.
I know. In shame and shadow recast, in black and gold reborn. So what has he done to cast off the failings of old? What does he start talking about? My work, the work I've done, the good work I've done. The Jack Murphy of old is dead. Well, is he? Now we're talking about, the Liminal order and its core values. As for myself, I know I am not the perfect man. I don't expect any man to be. I have never once said Jack Murphy possesses perfect masculinity. Especially when we can see your tonsils through your asshole. I have consistently and continually taken guidance from philosophy, politics, and religion, and sought to reflect on the ancient teachings and contextualize them for today. Any guru that tells you they've got some new ways to do things are a liar. The only honest one is someone who helps remind you of what has already been established or decided or handed down over time. I am not Jack Murphy, creator of masculinity. I am Jack Murphy, the cuck of masculinity, for myself and teaching others as I go. The more I lean on dicks, the more I can teach. Okay, so again, so he talked about, I've met with philosophers. Who? Who? I would love to, what? Michael Malice? Have you Lex Friedman?
Where are your receipts, Jack?
Jordan
Where?
Well, you got to go to Jack Murphy Live on YouTube. #branding.
Hold on, Matt. Are you out there? Do you have his receipts? Call me.
Yeah. Well, got one receipt. He's got his man card.
Aw, snap.
All right, your turn.
I'm a seeker, which
and Bilgewater will learn.
What?
Sorry.
I'm a seeker, which is nature contains humility.
Try that again. What? Try it again, you retard. Dyslexic fuck.
I'm trying. I just can't get the words out. Sorry. I'm a seeker.
And Bilgewater will learn.
Which by its nature contains humility. I'm always looking for more answers and more truth. And you can see that through everything I've written. If you've been listening to my podcast, you know I've always come with humility. I'm always asking people questions. I'm a student and they are the teacher. And if you need any advice to the contrary that Jack Murphy says, contrary.
Any evidence to the contrary.
I'm like, I said contrary, right? Anyway, yeah, evidence. That Jack Murphy says I am perfect Giga Chad meme and others have to do with what I say. Look at my history of work. And the work continues. One obvious
still talking about the fucking work.
Yes. One obvious example this year is the Liminal order has been the philosophical analysis of masculinity as taught by Dr. Michael Millerman. Oh my God, Millerman. That was hard to say. He understands He understands the philosophy of masculinity. So we learn from him. We are all still learning what it means to be a man, and we do it together. I considered stepping back when my past sins came to life. Should I shut it all down and go silent? If people believe I'm a hypocrite, Should I back off so I don't damage the cause?
Well, potentially. But you see, again, going on about my work, the work that I'm doing. Where's the Jack Murphy and all these teachings that I've accumulated. Then I remembered I'm not the only podcaster who has faced the past being dredged up. With every check this shit out. You ready to get your asshole blown out for fucking 69 whatever chatterbucks?
Hold on, where's the Vaseline? Okay, I'm ready.
With every regretful past thing they've done and had to come to terms with them in public. I consider Joe Rogan, for example. Why do people listen to Joe Rogan? Is it because of his inappropriate jokes? Even racist jokes? And other things he has said? People don't listen to him for that. Do they listen to him in spite of that? Yes. And Joe Rogan has talked about how he used to have liberal values, which means hedonistic values. No, wrong. You're wrong.
Surprised you didn't start knocking stuff over. Wrong.
Hedonism and liberalism are not the same thing. Sorry, I just threw my headphones in protest. And he had to transition from leftist. I know. Sorry, my retainer slipped out. He had to transition from leftist liberal values to traditional values, and that results in behavior change. That is not why Joe Rogan started on TV. He has many years of, whether it was his kickboxing or, moving into television. He's a comedian. He's an MMA commentator. And I've never, when I hear somebody make a joke, I guess the idea is always the same for any true professional. They make it look easy. They make it look as though they're just talking. And Joe's had to say flat out, these are just jokes. I really don't think this stuff. It's just funny. It's funny to say fucked up stuff.
It is.
Yeah.
We say it all the time.
But people love listening to him talk. Not necessarily him, but, to sit down, say, with an astrophysicist, Lewis Carroll. Not Lewis Carroll. Is it Lewis Carroll? It is Lewis Carroll. Lewis Carroll.
Well, one of the beauties about him, though, is that he may have his own ideas about things.
Sean Carroll? I don't think it was Lewis Carroll, because Lewis Carroll died in 1898.
Yeah, I don't think it was him, unless he was a ghost. Maybe they did just a seance, But anyway,
it is Sean Carroll.
The one beauty about him is that even if he has his own views on things, he'll still have people who share opposite views sit down and have a conversation. And the things that he doesn't know about, just to learn things. I love listening to his podcast. What?
Yeah, but Sean Carroll, he's a theoretical physicist, and he specializes in quantum mechanics. So he lets Sean Carroll just talk, and he can ask questions like, "The fuck are you talking about?" He lets those people just and he just asks the questions like, "Yo, I don't understand this." So, and yeah, he has his opinions, but he's not a leftist by any stretch. He is very libertarian, but you think of the whole controversy that was brought up with Joe Rogan saying the N-word, and it's weird, how many people came out that were black in his defense. That MMA fighter that was during a UFC press briefing, and a journalist says, what do you think about the controversy of Joe Rogan and, him being racist? And literally one of the black fighters says, hold on, I got this. Joe Rogan's the nicest fucking guy. He's a solid dude. And if anything, he's my brother, so he can say it.
Oh, snap.
Like but you see, like, I think Joe genuinely comes from a place of he's very sympathetic. He's very empathetic. He doesn't want to hurt people's feelings. And I think he comes from a genuine spot of empathy, but
He does. He's a good human being. Like, he really is. I would love to meet him just to have a conversation with him. Like, he's good shit.
okay. So all right, so let's continue. So if you look at all these great conversation stories in history, they're only memorable because of how drastic the change was. I think about Saul converting into Paul, for example, in the New Testament. Saul into Paul. The answer is, so this is, when and why was Saul's name changed to Paul? It was always Paul. It never changed. The custom of dual names was common in those days. So Acts 13:9 describes the apostle as Saul, who also was called Paul. From that version on, Saul is always referred to in the scripture as Paul. Paul was a Jew born in the Roman city of Tarsus. Because Paul was a piece of shit human being, according to the Bible. So, but he never hid what he did. He was actually quite open about it. Saul kept up. Okay, so here we go. Acts 9:1-5. In the meantime, Saul kept up his violent threats of murder against the followers of the Lord. He went to the high priest and asked for letters of introduction to the synagogues in Damascus, so that if he should find there any followers of the way of the Lord, he would be able to arrest them, both men and women, and bring them back to Jerusalem. He was not a good person, but he never hid it. He never hid it. But okay, so whatever. I guess your teachings are a little whatever. He went from slaughtering Christians to writing a huge chunk of the Bible and correcting churches. Nope. And I'm an atheist, man. I don't believe in this shit at all. I think it's all bullshit. I think it's all indoctrination. I think, if anything, this stuff probably does more to hurt people than it does to actually bring people up. That's my thought. Please tell me how I'm so wrong in the comments. Please, I'd love to know why religion is such a powerful force. Please. I think it's a destructive. I don't agree with it. But okay, so I'll just read this next part, and then you can take over. This is not me placing myself on par with the greats of history. I don't expect anyone to say, "Hey, look, there's St. Paul, Joe Rogan, and Jack Murphy. They're all the same." Definitely not. That's not the opposite of virtue. That's the opposite of humility. So this is what I don't understand. What controversy has Joe Rogan been in? What? Well, he has controversial figures on, but he lets people just talk. Okay. Saul and Paul, dude was a terrible person that loved actually killing Jews. Tell me why the Bible is good.
Maybe Hitler was related to him. They seem to have things in common.
Maybe who?
Hitler.
Oh,
maybe he was
probably
related to him. Two
all right, okay.
pods and a pea.
All right, your turn.
But why do people listen to Joe Rogan consistently and relate to Paul's writings? It's not just because they're experts and they were humble because of their pasts. We see their painful pasts and the mistakes that they've made and the men they've become in spite of those pasts. And those conversation stories or conversion stories make their work more meaningful to us, not less meaningful. That is the mistake I made. By hiding my sins, I made people believe what I was taught was a lie. If I had revealed my foolish past earlier, people might have learned from my conversion story, not because I'm on par with Joe Rogan or Paul, but because I'm a normal man who made bad decisions when he thought they were right. And now I see how wrong they were. And I can say from a place of authority, these things are wrong. And here's how I know.
See, and this is what I'm trying to understand. Like, Jesus had to come to Paul and say, yo, what you're doing is wrong. You're actually hurting me. You're supposed to be preaching the Bible, and actually what you're doing is you are persecuting these people. Why? I'm an atheist. I don't believe in any of this shit, but yet I understand it. Like, I was just looking this up to compare, like,
I think you're the only atheist I've ever known that's actually read the Bible. I haven't even read the Bible.
You know, if you want to turn into an atheist, read the Bible. See, but he keeps equating like hedonism with liberalism. I don't think he truly understands what the difference is. Leftist liberal values, which are hedonistic values. No, wrong. Do I have to do it again? Do I have to throw my fucking headphones?
Do it.
Which are hedonistic values. Tell us we can do whatever we want without consideration beyond consent. No, wrong. That is not liberalism at all. That is hedonistic. That is consent for the sole reason of, and that's only in pleasure. That is in seeking pleasure. This is not by way to build a meaningful life. Ideally, you should go onto Chatterbait and ask for young college boys to give you money so that you could fuck their asses. We've all seen the extreme behavior liberal values can result in. The destruction of the family, creating generations of broken people who don't know how to love or be loved. Nope. Drug epidemics claiming millions of lives. Nope. School kids having their nudes posted online and committing suicide from the embarrassment and bullying. And yes, people doing shameful things in their relationships and on the internet. That is hedonism. That is hedonism. That is not liberalism. Jack, baby, come on, sweetheart. That is hedonism. That is pleasure for pleasure's sake. Sweetheart, come sit on my lap. I'll tell you. That is hedonism. That is not liberalism. Liberalism, the destruction of the family? Where? That is, you are an individual to make your own choices. That is to not hurting other people. That is not necessarily just seeking consent. Okay. People called me a hypocrite for not owning my mistakes. Well, I own them now. I am woman, hear me, whore. They've been revealed for the whole world to see. Not by choice. And there's no going back. So again, where Jack, baby, come on. You've said this already. You've already said the Jack of old is dead. This is what I'm doing, but all you're talking about is hashtag branding Democrat to deplorable, hashtag branding Jack Murphy live, hashtag my work, hashtag the work I'm doing.
Well, and he's also saying that he's owning it and that, everything, all his mistakes have been revealed to the world to see and there's no going back. Well, obviously, because you posted it on the internet. You can't ever go back.
We can't unsee your asshole. Can't.
As much as we've tried, as much as I've drank, I can never unsee what I have seen.
All right, your turn.
I would not go back if I could, because my past reveals that everything I've warned about has been true. I've written countless emails, blog posts, and tweets, and recorded dozens of podcasts, and even wrote a book warning about the evils of liberal values. I've told everyone who will listen that the libertine beliefs and licentious?
Yeah, licentious acts.
Hold on.
Are you looking up the word?
Nope. Throwing Kevin Hart up. That's right. Just insulted myself. Actions will destroy individuals and in turn society. When I say that now people will know what I am speaking from personal experience, I'm not saying it academically, theoretically, or rhetorically. Oh my God. I broke for a minute there. These are raw memories of how leftist beliefs nearly destroyed me. They've nearly ruined me again when I refuse to own up to them. They're being revealed because people caused people to walk away from the truth I was trying to share. My story does not negate what I have been taught. Sorry, this is so dramatic.
Okay, but so libertine. A libertine is a person devoid of most moral principles, a sense of responsibility, or sexual restraints. I think he's understanding that liberalism, he's using the wrong word. Libertine and licentian, yeah. Because licentian is lack of moral restraint, especially in sexual conduct. I think I've been licentious, but characterized by license, passing due bound. Okay, well, whatever. All right. So I think he's trying to. I think he's finally gotten the right words. But again, what is he doing? How is he shaking off the sins of the old? Because he's talking a lot of, he's proselytizing and talking about religion a lot. But he's conflating liberalism with libertine or being licentious.
Yes, there's a lot of words here. Can we get to the juice at some point? Please?
My story doesn't negate what I've taught. It proves it. My own life is a study in the truth of what I teach. What did you teach? I don't. And it's because I embrace that, so I can do more good than ever before. Because if I can prevent even one young man from following my path, you hear the self-grandizing, the reveling in power for power's sake? If I can just help one man find virtue before he makes grievous mistakes that will haunt him, all the stupidity I embraced, especially those dildos in my ass, will be worth it. All the chatterbucks, all the sex articles. I place greater importance on the health of our society and our people than on my own comfort. So if the truth can help save people, then let the truth be shouted from the rooftops. I'm here, I'm queer, get used to it, baby.
Oh, anybody else all of a sudden get that song in their head from the princess? No. Robin Hood, Men in Tights. We are the men, manly men, the men in tights. Yeah, that's what I'm picturing right now.
But do you hear the kind of self-grandizing? Again. Sorry, my nose was itchy.
Do you think his wife proofread this before he put it out?
I don't know. He said that he was going on a vacation with his family for a few weeks, and then I guess this is what maybe he did a lot of soul searching. But again, what are you doing to cast it off? It's just if I could just save one college-age boy from, falling into my ass cheeks, well, I'll have saved the world.
I wish I could have saved my eyes. There's like that starfish is like seared right in there. Yeah.
I am not starting from zero. My bad choices from 3 years ago have led to 3 years of change and improvement. I'm engaged to my longtime girlfriend, who I sent to Matt, who I pissed on in public so we can get married and do things right. Like go to fishbowl parties. While so many people are shacking up and playing house, I'm putting actions behind my values. But I'm engaged to my longtime girlfriend so we can get married. So you're still playing house, dude. Come on, pull the fucking trigger.
Right? They've been together for
Come on,
how
you got all
long
that 3 years, at least, if not more.
It'll be more than
Probably,
that.
I think it's more, it'd be 6.
Yeah, like fucking get on it, dude. Oh my God, go to a courthouse already.
I am putting action behind my values. That's not to say I'm better than others. Or that I'm a perfect example. I don't think anyone's perfect, dude. It's me living what I teach. As I learned more about the importance of accepting responsibility, and the purpose of marriage in society, I changed to embrace my duties. Hey, you know what? If he, if that's what he's done, but again, where's the repentance? Where are you trying to, improve yourself, casting off the old, and accepting it? I still hear nothing. There's nothing here.
No.
All right,
this is one change in 1,000 as I continue to transition from leftist values to traditional virtues. And one of the most traditional virtues is lifetime commitment and faithfulness, right? Right?
Right?
Right?
Just seeking clarification, right? This is what I'm supposed to do, right? Just
right? Come on, throw me a bone here. Say right.
God.
Maybe some people reading this are hiding secrets of their own. Their licentious past conflicts with who I want to be. I see a lot of people argue online about whether women can reform after 10 years of hookup culture. Can they really be a loving wife or mother? Or whether men can come back from various emasculating experiences to become honorable? Can they really be respectable? I'm here to say you can find redemption.
You want to see it? You want to see emasculating? No, I'm not.
Oh my God. I'm here to say you can find redemption. Just because you were X in the past doesn't mean you will be X forever.
Christianity, morality, has informed a large part of my quest for redemption and growth. A unique part of Christianity is redemption. We are redeemed not by our own works, but by grace. And part of that grace is true repentance for what we've done and a heart desiring change.
It was so hot, by the way.
As I move to explore my faith and my asshole, I am pressed to cultivate humility, repentance, and a heart for change. And this experience has created more urgency in my loins for me to seek that redemption than ever before. I must become what I am called to be, rather than what I have chosen to be in the past. What was old will become new, except my asshole. It's pretty blown out. It'll
never be new again.
Okay, but so... Okay, all right. So all right. So we can carry on.
Okay.
I'll save my statement for after this.
Okay. Frankly, if anyone rejects the ability to be redeemed, they are rejecting Christian morality and the American spirit as well. That is not to say that I am synonymous with the Christian faith, or that I don't have to show my repentance and desire to change. I do, and that's on me. But those who would attack me from here on out, those who would say there's no hope for man to change, it is not me that they are attacking. They are attacking Christian ideas and the American love for a comeback. And I will no longer respond to them. I will spend my effort changing and learning and being redeemed from the man I was when I didn't know better. Sorry. When I did.
Okay, but so, all right. Okay, so he's talking about redemption, which, you know, I'll say, at least for Christianity, they do have a clause in there, you know, a little, you can be redeemed. So, okay. So if someone does something really bad to, say, a child, you know, like, let's say, you know, you have like your brother or your sister, you know, house sitting, and the kid ends up slips and falls, and because the person is drunk and they pass out, and they you know, they end up stabbing themselves or cutting themselves with a knife or something. Hey, you can be redeemed. You can say, hey, you know, I understand what happened, but you're not just gonna, well, here's little Timmy. No, you've lost that privilege now. You've lost that ability. So yes, I will not hate you, but also I'm not just gonna, here you go.
Yeah.
Like Jack, John, you can't go on Chatterbait anymore.
Booby, baby. Don't do it.
But he not. But then he's starting to sound like Anthony Fauci. I wonder if he was watching Fauci's, like, you know, I am the science, freaking whatever, his little Brooklyn whatever freaking accent.
Yeah, whatever.
But he's like, if you're attacking me, you're attacking Christianity and the idea itself.
Right?
I don't think.
Where are you getting this big jump from, though? Like, and what makes you like? Are you? It makes you seem so, frankly, like, look at me. I'm so big that if you attack me, it's like you're attacking Christianity in itself.
And and you hate America too. Frankly. You hate the underdog story.
Yeah, yeah. You don't have love in your heart or believe in redemption.
I cannot be Jack Murphy, leader of the perfect men who've never made mistakes. I am not the Giga Chad without need for redemption. I cannot be that role model, and I never wanted to be, and I will never be perfect, especially my asshole. And after this revealing of my past, I can't even pretend to be, because that was never my role to play. This new phase of my life demands I become something else. Sex toy? Sex toy.
I'm thinking of that picture right now. The Giga N-bomb. He's going to be something else instead of the Giga Chad. He's going to turn black.
So I want to say this. Most people that are like self-help, a lot of them are like self-soothing. That's a lot of what, like, the self-help thing. So I honestly think the Liminal order, Jack Murphy started to help himself. That is my honest opinion. I think he started it so that he could try and find men that he could aspire to be.
Which, honestly, I don't find that being a bad thing at all. There's a lot of people who will say, go start looking into being a nutritionalist to help other people live a healthy lifestyle because they themselves want to live a healthier lifestyle. You know what I mean? Like, there's no bad in starting something because he himself wants to grow and learn and stuff like that. That's not a bad thing at all.
Mm-hmm.
Just fucking own who you were, dude.
Well, as the expression goes, you are the average of your friends.
Yeah. So who am I now? Jack Murphy, a man who was once a libertine fool, but embraced virtue. Jack Murphy, a seeker who will learn more about morality until the day I die. Jack Murphy, a companion for people who believe they're too broken to be redeemed. Jack Murphy, a living example of God's grace in the American spirit. This is who I am. I would like you to be part of it. If you're holding things back, secrets you're afraid of would hurt you, I want you to know there's a way through the darkness. And if you want to be part of my journey, I'm glad to have you along. Even you, Matt.
Especially you, Matt.
You need Jesus, Matt. You need Jesus.
And more lube. If you're someone who's horrified at my past, let me say that I share that horror. Horror. The man I was 3 years ago is not who I want to be. And I am doing everything I can to become the best man I can be. That includes learning from everyone who will teach me. If you're further along that journey than I am, I appreciate your insight and advice. I am a student and I want to learn. Learning is how we become better than we were.
Teach me, big boy.
Listening to this just sounds like, okay, all right, we're almost done. We're almost done.
And if you don't want to be part of my journey, that's fine too. Maybe you don't believe in redemption, or you aren't interested in seeking a transition for humanism to objective good. Go ahead, unsubscribe. This is the road I'm on. And I have to.
My YouTube channel.
Yeah. This is the road I'm on, and I have to walk it. If our paths diverge here, I wish you the best. The Jack Murphy of 3 years ago is dead. The Jack Murphy of 3 months ago is dead too. From here on out, I will be the Jack Murphy who acknowledges the past so I can encourage those a painful past of their own. I will work
to make... painful past, you fucking retard.
Yes. I will work to make the world a better place, or the world better, as I am already doing. But this time, without the shadow of regret hanging over me, I will continue to shout for all the world to hear that there is real truth to be found in virtue, masculinity, and social responsibility. We must make the world better, and I hope you join me. Jack.
Okay, so this is 11 pages. Mind you, we make it bigger so that you can see everything. But what did he say? What, like, honestly, what was said?
Okay.
He's talking about liberalism, hedonism, and then he finally gets to what it's actually about, libertine and licentiation. But then he's talking about being a teacher and the work that he's doing. What work? What have you...
He's a teacher. He's a student. He's taught men how to be men, manly men in tights. And he's owning it, blaming others, not being ashamed of his past, and being, forthfront about it, even though, well, he didn't really have a choice as his butthole's in everyone's face, so he had to address it somehow.
You know what the one thing that I wish was in here? Oddly enough, this is a redacted version. There's a different version where he talks more about the work I'm doing, the work I'm doing, the work I'm doing, the work I'm doing, the work I'm doing. He is a lot more self-grandizing and reveling in that power, which he says is so corrupted. Says it's so much more in one that actually came from, that he sent to the members in the Liminal order. So he kept talking about the work that I'm doing. This work is, for other men. That was it.
Well, because now he's trying to sell it. Because now he's trying to sell it to the people in his Liminal order to, you know what, don't leave. This is what I'm trying to do. Okay. I've made mistakes. I'm owning it now because I don't have a choice. But this is what I'm doing. These are the things I want to do. Like, it's like a presidential speech. Like, vote for me. Stay with me, please.
Vote for me. I'll do stuff. And I'll say, and I'll, like, you know what I wish he would have ended this with? That Jack Murphy is dead. I am John Goldman. This is me in all my flaws and all my teachings. And I would have been, hey, you know what? Good. Yes. Stop wearing the mask. Stop it.
Actually, the funny thing is, That's kind of where I thought this was going because he kept Jack Murphy, Jack Murphy, Jack Murphy. I thought at the end it was going to say like John, whatever his name was, 100%.
On Goldman.
Yeah, a little disappointed. You're still wearing that mask, but you'd think you'd want to rebrand yourself a little bit and go back to, the non-Jack Murphy.
Like, that Jack of old, that Jack off of old is gone. That life is behind me, and to prove I am John. I am John Goldman. Hear me roar. Like that I actually would have said, okay. Some of your morality teaching, which seems weird. Like, obviously, I'm not like any kind of major. Obviously, I don't have a major. I have a degree in business management, but I don't have a degree in philosophy. So, I would have to defer to someone else that actually studies Aristotle, and all these teachings. I would say I'm actually going to go learn about, the teachings of Aristotle and, this Hobbes and Locke. Or Hobe? Is it Hobe? I don't know. Someone correct me since I don't Hobbes. Really know. But
Lock and Barrel.
Yeah. Was it Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels? That was a good movie.
I was thinking of the kids from Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh. I got you. Okay, but so, again, like, he doesn't really say anything. He just casts like all this stuff. But so, all right. So, anyways, I think he's full of shit.
I think he's just throwing out a bunch of big words and, just trying to like, Christian morals, masculinity, like I think it's just a bunch of words being thrown out. Like, you know what? Yeah. Okay. Saying, I think at some point he did say like, this isn't who I am anymore. Okay. But there's still really not much owning. It's most of the thing, like he had said, like, oh, I'm owning it now, but you're not really owning it. You're making excuses. People are out to get you. I've made mistakes, and they've been put out there through no fault of my own, which it really was because, dude, you're the one that fucking put it out there. Like, okay, if I was putting nudes of myself out there and then all of a sudden they came up and like, surprise, and titties in my face and hey, those are mine. I'd be like, yep, 100%. That was me. I did it. I posted my titties on the interwebs. Yep. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't just all of a sudden, oh, it's so-and-so's fault because they put it out there. No, who took the picture? I took it. So my fault. Or I consented to it. So like, just freaking own it. Like, stop making excuses. Stop talking about how, your liberal beliefs that is what caused you to think that these things were okay to do. And now you're Christian, you're all God loving, and now you're finally going to marry your girlfriend, which fucking get on it. Like, dude, it's been 6 years. God. But I don't know. It sounded like a bunch of talking and not really a lot of, like, it was a lot of, I don't know. It just kept repeating with different words.
So, well, it seemed like self-grandizing and trying to.
I mean, if he's out there and he's like actually trying to help people and stuff like that, which I mean, it sounds like he is. So, I mean, I'll give him props for that. If you're trying to help people and you're actually going to be honest with people now about your past, because now you don't really have a choice. So it's not really something to be like, oh yeah, good for you, because, well, somebody put it out there or somebody noticed it and brought it to your attention. So, well, now you don't really have a choice. But
honestly, it doesn't sound like he's actually apologizing. It doesn't sound like he's actually trying to, own the past. He just says, yep, it happened, and I turned to Christianity, and there's redemption. I listened to philosophers, and yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
That was the extent of, like, for 11 pages. And
yeah,
That honestly, if it said at the end, we must make this world better, I hope you'll join me, John Goldman. Something like that.
You're fucked up. Like, you had a perfect opportunity to be like, hey, you listened to a bunch of me going round and round and round, but you know what? This is me now. I am this person. Congratulations. Pat on the back. That's awesome. You know, you talk about Jack Murphy being dead. Well, then kill him. And I don't mean like go out and kill yourself. Like, relax your dicks. Okay. I just mean like kill the character. Exactly. Like, you built this character. You're ashamed of this character. So kill off the character and go back to you. Just be you. Be who you are. But okay, now you have more wisdom.
It's actually freeing. Yeah. I would say, like, owning it's freeing. So,
I agree.
Okay. All right. Let's get out of here.
Well, thank you everybody for listening to our dramatic reading. And thank you, Jack Murphy, for putting it out there to make this hump day truly one to remember. And I wish you all the luck. Don't forget to check us out in all the areas in the description box below. Come join our Facebook group. Check them out on Twitter, or check us out on Twitter. It's just normally this guy making a lot of noise. And, come hang out with us. Hope you guys have a great week. Have a great day. And we will catch you on Friday. Chicka wow wow. Bye, guys. Bye, Jack. Oh, and Matt, call me.